What's happening, gang? Back live. Truth Nation Radio. This is the egoless chamber of truth, Ilona. Are you prepared for that?
I'm ready.
Cat's back in Bristol gave us the keys. And we just got to do one thing in this next hour. We got to tell the truth.
Deal.
So we got you in the house right now. I think you're Facebook Live. And so say what's up to your Facebook Lives.
Seriously?
There you go. Either that or this dude's got some issues with his phone that he can't set down. Adrian, producer, by the way. You get a point for nothing, brother. Hey, gang, listen. There's no good way to jump into this other than literally to jump into this, because here's the truth. By the way, expertdivorcelaw.com, Ilona, you know, you're swimming in this as a founding partner of Antonyan Miranda and certified family law specialist. We've got situations where folks get in with the best intentions, things don't go well, they have to split up. But then you introduce the element or the variable of alcohol and drugs. Okay? So the question I got for you is, what's the truth about alcohol and drugs when you know, you really hope it's going to stop, but it just doesn't, right? And then you add in the fact you got to protect your, you know, rights, maybe even your children, your assets, and all the stuff in between.
Well, you know, I see many marriages where a spouse starts to develop the alcohol habit over time, and that pushes the other spouse away. And one feels that they're no longer perhaps attractive, then they stop being intimate, they rely on alcohol. Children, of course, add more stress to marriage. So one doesn't become alcoholic overnight. It's usually a problem that's caused by depression and other issues. I'm not a psychologist, but and if the other spouse doesn't see it, doesn't support it from the start, it could happen that it develops and becomes worse. And then I've had cases where children, let's say one of my clients ended up drinking, hiding bottles in the children's bedrooms. I've had cases where parents, you know, were passing out from being so drunk in front of the children. And it was while the family was still together, so no one documented it. No one called the police or asked for the other spouse to get help. And things just got worse until they were fed up with it and kicked the other spouse out of the house. Well,
and the document, I want to touch on this because, you know, like, the concept of you being in a marriage, in a family, is that you have trust. You take this oath, right? Figuratively, of course, but also literally. And that it's kind of like you guys as a ton-10, you're separate from the band apart, and you guys got to stick together. So that it's almost like you have to mentally divorce before you can begin documenting. You know what I mean? Because it's like, seriously, right? I mean, that's kind of like that switch that has to go off. You're like, I'm over, I'm done. I'm not out of the house yet. Instead, I'm going to write down every time you get wasted, right, or high, and I'm going to, you know, lay out as much detail as possible. Like, it's creepy, right? I
mean, yeah, you don't want to live in a house and feel like you have an enemy in a house documenting everything that's going on. But if you have a spouse or a parent of, you know, baby's daddy or mother of your child who's abusing alcohol or drugs, everybody's got iPhones now. It's not difficult to snap a photograph and save it on your phone, save it on iCloud. Perhaps you may need it later if the problem does not get better. So I'd recommend taking photographs if possible. A lot of people have nanny cams too, which are great. We get to use them a lot in our court proceedings. And nanny cams, they have some good stuff. Not only do people, we've seen so many of clients get caught cheating through those nanny cams, but other than cheating, can see how the person, while they're on alcohol or drugs, when they're home alone with the kids, is taking care of the kids. Also, where they hide their bottles, if you don't know, because sometimes it's hidden, and other spouse may not know for a while until it's too late. So what do you do?
And an alcoholic will find the most cryptic places to hide them.
Right.
Because it's a disease.
And a lot of people function. A lot of people are in denial because, you know, the first step is admitting you have a problem. Many people don't admit it until, you know, they are taken to court. And the court orders them to take alcohol assessment. So you hope it's going to change. It doesn't change. Of course, first advice is see if you can get your spouse to go to get some professional help. Get a drug or alcohol assessment. sometimes you don't need an assessment if it's very clear, but those that are in denial, you may threaten divorce or leaving and saying, hey, I'm going to file a petition to get custody and visitation of your kids. And until you get clean, you're not going to see the kids. See, filing for divorce or petition for custody and visitation doesn't mean that it's over. You can get back together. You can start the case to make your point, to get the other person, send them a message that you're taking it seriously. They need to step up their game. They need to become more responsible, to clean up, or they're going to have problems, because the courts don't look at alcohol or drug use, especially in front of the kids, that affects their best interest and the stability in the home. They don't take it lightly. The parent who has that problem, if you can present evidence that documented evidence that, let's say there's marijuana may be less of a big deal, and depends who's the judge that you're in front of. But let's say, any other drug would be an issue.
Still Schedule 1. That's interesting.
Huh?
It's still Schedule 1. I said that's interesting for you to say that.
Well, it's so easy to get the marijuana license that you can have a legal excuse that you have a headache, Greg, to get away with smoking marijuana.
Well, so is alcohol, though. So alcohol's legal. You can buy it.
True. Everything is it depends how excessive it is. And it's about proving it.
Right.
So, take photographs. See if the marijuana ends up. I had cases where we showed that marijuana ended up in a child's backpack just because the parent was irresponsible. It was like in the child's little sock. So at that point it becomes irresponsible.
Hey, child was slanging is what it came down to. That was the coolest kid on the campus. You better guarantee it. Dude didn't play kickball. Dude was over in the corner hustling.
So, get professional help. It's more likely than not it will be refused because the person will not admit they have a problem, or they may not be able to help themselves. Sometimes they're too deep into it. So documenting it. Photographs, videos on your iPhone, nanny cams, save it somewhere before it's deleted, because when one is on drugs or alcohol, they can grab your phone, they can break it. Make sure it's backed up on iTunes. Make sure that it's backed up on iCloud, or if you have any other sort of phone, I don't know how to do that, but save it.
Yeah.
And if it gets bad, I highly recommend, for example, if it turns into domestic violence in front of the children, many people don't report it, but it's important to report it. 1, it sends the message to the abuser that you can't do this. You're going to be in trouble. 3, the children feel protected, that their parent took action to protect them from what's going on in the house that's causing them anxiety, fear, and stress. And, get children enrolled in therapy of some sort. If you can't afford it, there are many programs in San Diego that do it on a fee schedule, sliding scale schedule, where they look at your income. But it's very important to get children who are in the home where there's domestic violence, drugs or alcohol or screaming, and this conflict into therapy. Not only does it help the kids express how they feel, their fears, but then if you end up in court and the other parent is saying that you're lying, that it's not true, that they're not drinking, that they're not they're not screaming at the kids, that they're not screaming at the other parent, they're not causing ruckus at home. Well, if you took your children to a therapist, and there's going to be neutral who has been documenting what the children are saying, and then when you go to court to litigate custody and visitation rights, here in San Diego we have mandatory family court services mediation before the judge hears your case concerning custody and visitation. So the family court service mediator will meet with both parents, and you will give them information of all the professionals with whom the children are involved, including the child's therapist. And if the children have been going to that therapist for a while, there's going to be a trail of what has happened for a period of time. The family court services mediator can call the child's therapist if both parents sign the consent. And if the other parent does not sign the consent, if they truly have an alcohol and drug problem, you can get the right sole legal custody to give permission on your own without the other parent. There's a process for that, of course. Anyways, the mediator will contact the therapist and get the truth that comes from a neutral source, and that neutral source got it from the children. So then instead of two parents who have their biases and who have their interests and motives to possibly, teach each other a lesson, to lie or to tell the truth, whatever it may be, the truth will come from the kids.
And you're bringing up the kids a lot. So one curiosity that flies up for me is, okay, if it's in the constructs of a marriage, okay, that seems to kind of play itself out. What if there's a child and they're not married?
Well, if there's a child and they're not married and there's a drug and alcohol problem?
Yes.
Well, it depends which parent you are. If you're the parent who, it's different for men and women in a way. If you're not married, as a man, you may be listed on a birth certificate or you may not be listed on a birth certificate. Let's say you're...
Right, because the mom is guaranteed that's the mom.
Mom is guaranteed to have the rights because she's the mom.
Right.
Father, let's say a single mom had a baby by herself and you guys were fighting at a time and she didn't put your name on a birth certificate, you have no rights. And if she has a problem with alcohol or drugs and you want to protect your child, you'll first have to file a petition to establish paternity, although you may have been in that child's life for many years.
So you do that with DNA?
Well, first you file a petition to establish paternity. You'll need to have your name added to the birth certificate, but yes, you'll have to prove you're the father. If the other side agrees that you're the father, you can sign a paperwork, a voluntary declaration of paternity. And
that sounds easy, though. But what if she doesn't agree?
But if she doesn't, and together with the petition to establish paternity, and that happens a lot. They may know you're the father, and you may be living with the child and the mother for many years. And
maybe she wants to select who she wants the dad to be, even though she knows it wasn't the dad.
And I'll tell you a story about that. But on this point, as to how do you prove that you're the dad, you must file a petition to establish paternity. You right away also have to file a request for order seeking to get a judgment of paternity and ask for, you sign paperwork admitting you're the father. The other side may say, no, you're not, and they can ask for genetic testing. But you too, if you're not sure how many people each one was sleeping with at the time the baby may have been conceived, and if you love the child and it doesn't matter to you, then you may not want to do genetic testing. Yeah. But if you are not sure, this may be your opportunity to do genetic testing because otherwise you're on a hook for child support until the child turns 18 or 19. But, money's not everything.
Well,
sometimes.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a point for that just because that's not ever the case, it seems. Seems like it always comes down to money. Money and kids, sure. We'll play the violin. Money and kids, money and kids. Ilona, there's so much more on that thread we could probably play out. Like I was thinking of like child protection services, all kinds of different peripheries. But one of them I'm actually chomping at the bit to get to. So let's go ahead and parlay that into the next segment. And it has to do with, restraining orders. What if you're the one who's wrongfully accused?